Okay, let's talk about just two pieces of paper. Sounds simple, right? But these two documents, they have the power to protect literally everything you've ever worked for, both during your life and after. They are your game plan for the unexpected, and they are your voice for the inevitable.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. What if tomorrow you couldn't make your own decisions? I know, it's a scary thought. A sudden accident, a terrible illness, and boom, you can't pay your mortgage, you can't manage your investments. Who steps in? And I mean, who legally has the right to step in? It's a heavy question for sure, but it's at the very heart of why we're talking about this today.
All right, to really get why this is so critical, let me tell you about a guy named Morris. Now, Morris's story is a wild one. He got in on a tech stock super early, and you guessed it, he became a millionaire. I mean, that's the dream, isn't it?
And of course, he did what pretty much any of us would do, right? He went out, bought a gorgeous new house, and finally got that vintage Harley he'd been dreaming about forever. He was on top of the world.
But then, life threw a massive curveball, a motorcycle accident. And just like that, Morris was in a coma, totally out of it for 6 long weeks. He couldn't talk, couldn't sign his name, couldn't do a single thing.
And this, right here, is what we're diving into today. You know, what happens when life just goes completely off script? Morris's situation, it's the perfect, if heartbreaking, example of the problem we're trying to solve. So get this. While Morris is lying there in the hospital, that tech stock, you know, the one that made him rich, it started to absolutely tank. I mean, nosedive. This could have been a total disaster. But Morris had a plan. He had this one specific legal document in place that let his brother step in, sell off that crashing stock, and save his entire fortune. Just wow.
So what was this magic document? What was this thing that saved Morris's bacon? It's called a power of attorney. And it's all about your plan for while you're still alive.
The easiest way to think about it is like this. You're naming a co-pilot for your financial life. With this document, they call you the donor, you give someone you really trust, your attorney, the legal keys to the kingdom, so to speak. They can manage your money and property for you.
Okay, but listen up, because this is a super important detail that trips up so many people. A regular power of attorney, it becomes totally useless the second you're incapacitated. Yep, you heard me. The exact moment you need it the most, it's worthless. The magic word you're looking for is enduring or continuing. That's the one that keeps working. That's what Morris had. Now, in Quebec, they call it a protection mandate, but it does pretty much the same crucial job.
All right, let's put this in big, bold letters, because it's the #1 thing people mix up. Power of attorney, for you, while you're alive. A will, for your loved ones, after you're gone. See the difference? A will does absolutely nothing until you pass away. A POA is your protector during your lifetime. Totally different tools for totally different jobs. Got it?
Okay, so we've covered your lifetime plan with the POA. So what about, the end game, your final wishes? Well, that's where the will steps onto the stage. Think of it as your ultimate instruction manual. It's the document that speaks for you when you can't.
Now, you've got a few options here, but believe me, they are not all created equal. First, there's the holograph will. That's one you write out entirely by hand. Sounds kind of simple and old school, right? But that risk column, it's basically a recipe for family drama. Then you've got the formal will. This is the gold standard for most of us. It's typed up, signed with witnesses, it's legally rock solid. And if you're in Quebec, there's the notarial will, which is a great option because it can help you skip some legal headaches down the road.
Oh, and if you're thinking a handwritten will is a great way to save a few bucks, let me introduce you to Herbert. Herbert. He loved to write his own wills. Every time a nephew ticked him off, he'd just scribble out a new one. The problem? He left behind 11 of them. 11 conflicting and, get this, undated wills. So that few $1,000s he saved on a lawyer, it ended up costing his family an absolute fortune in legal fees. Not a great savings plan.
And another thing, you can't just put whatever you want in a will. Take Gino, for example. He was so mad at his wife, he told his lawyer he wanted to leave her a single bus token. Yep, a bus token, so she could ride to the end of the line and jump in the lake. But here's the thing. The law has rules to protect people who depend on you financially. You can't just cut out your spouse or your kids. If you try, a judge can literally step in and rewrite your will. So, no bus tokens.
So when you boil it all down, it really comes down to this one simple choice. Are you going to make a plan, or are you going to let the government make one for you?
When someone passes away without a valid will, there's a legal term for it. It's called dying intestate.
And no, your money doesn't just vanish. What happens is the provincial government pulls out its standard one-size-fits-all rulebook and starts dividing up your stuff. And you get zero say in any of it. And here is the biggest, most dangerous myth out there. Oh, if I die, my spouse gets everything automatically. Nope, wrong. Almost always that is completely false. Think about Morris. If he hadn't woken up from that coma and had died without a will, the government's formulas would have kicked in, carving up his new house, his Harley, all his money, between different family members. There is no way that's what he would have wanted.
Okay, so even if you have a great will, there's usually this one extra step called probate. Don't let the legal-sounding name scare you. It's basically just a court giving your will a big official thumbs up. It's how banks and financial institutions know for sure that they're giving your assets to the right person, the executor you picked.
But that official thumbs up, it's not free, not even close. Probate fees are basically a tax on everything you own, and the price tag changes like crazy depending on where you live. Take a $1 million estate. In Ontario, that's going to cost your family about $14,500. In Manitoba, it's half that. That's money that should be going to your family, but instead it's going straight to the government.
Okay, so all of this brings us to what I think is the most important part, the most empowering step. Because these documents, they aren't really about money and stuff, they're about people. This is you picking your A-team, the people you trust to get things done right.
So who's on the team? Well, you've got your executor. That's the director of the show after you're gone. Then the guardian. This is who you're trusting with your kids. It doesn't get more important than that. Your attorney for the POA, that's your financial bodyguard while you're alive. And your trustee is the person who'll manage money for your kids or other beneficiaries over the long haul. And here's the thing. The people you pick need to be more than just people you love. They have to be responsible, totally trustworthy, and able to handle a whole lot of stress.
So, at the end of the day, it really all comes down to this one question. A plan is going to be made for your future, for your stuff, and for your family. That's a guarantee. The only question is, will it be your plan? Or will it be the one the government chooses for you? The choice is yours.